Good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Timothy Dalton. I'm a professor of agricultural economics at Kansas State University in the United States, and I serve as the director of the Feed the Future Innovation Lab for collaborative research on sorghum and millet. What I thought I would do today is tell you about our value-added product development portfolio in West Africa and some of the work we're doing in Ethiopia. And hopefully this will give you some ideas about new opportunities, new things to think about as you pursue your own businesses or you think about research opportunities for the private sector. So let me go ahead and share my screen and we will work off of a presentation. My program's been in existence since 2013. We're in the second 5-year phase that will terminate in 2023. But my program builds upon more than a 40-year history of the INSOMIL CRIS, the International Sorghum and Millet Collaborative Research Support Program, that worked in Kenya, that worked throughout East Africa, West Africa, Southern Africa, Latin America, and even in Asia. During this phase, we're really focusing on pulling together that value chain, developing new varieties to meet farmer needs, developing new varieties to meet consumer needs and processor needs, those technologies to ensure sustainability of production, and new food products and other usages of sorghum, for example, in poultry feed. We're a consortium of over 100 researchers from the United States, from Europe, from South Africa, from East Africa, from West Africa. And we work jointly to try to pursue projects that support the needs of our host institutions in each of our target countries of Ethiopia, Senegal, Niger, and affiliated West African countries. In West Africa, we are working with a number of different institutes, and in particular, I just wanted to emphasize that in Senegal, we're working with not only the national program ISRA, that counterpart to CARO in Kenya, but with the Institute of Food Technology, ITA. In Niger, we work with INRAN. And both of these national programs have spillover activities into neighboring countries, into Burkina Faso and into Mali, to broaden the geographic approach of our program. West Africa has a long history of a number of different food products made from sorghum and pearl millet. So traditional products such as couscous type products have been part of the diet for thousands of years. This agglomerated product to the right, dege, is a larger couscous type of product, which is steamed and often put in yogurt as a breakfast food. Touzme, which is a noodle-like product, which is fortified with green leafy vegetables like spinach. We look at couscous made from different ingredients, whether they be sorghum, millet, or composite products made from leguminous grains like cowpea and peanut, along with those staples. And then your flour products, blends and straight single variety flours that can be used to produce the ugali-like products that they like to consume in West Africa. So the program focuses on getting these products right, making sure that the food technologists, the food processors are developing high quality products with the attributes that farmers can produce, as well as consumers demand. So these are the intrinsic characteristics of the products. But as an agricultural economist, I also like to think about the extrinsic products. And what do we mean by those extrinsic attributes? For example, that information which is placed upon the label of that product. What are the cues, the signals that individuals need to push that purchase along? And there's a couple of very interesting findings that seem quite straightforward. Made locally, made in Niger, made in Senegal. Farmers ethnocentrically respond to products that are made locally as opposed to those that are imported. Having an expiration date or a manufacture date gives those consumers with very weak purchasing power confidence that they're not buying something which is not going to feed them and nourish them. So let me tell you a little bit about these products through a video, and we'll go ahead and just run through this.
Sorghum and millet are key ingredients to countless traditional food in West Africa. With increasing urbanization and disposable income, as well as deeper understanding and demand for nutritionally balanced diets, these traditional food products are seeing a market-driven revolution. There is a growing demand for convenient, easy-to-prepare, nutritious food based on sorghum and millet, and researchers from the Sorghum and Millet Innovation Lab have been hard at work bringing these products to market. Consumer testing has shown that the instant millet-based food products are rated equal and even sometimes better than traditional products. Additionally, consumers are willing to pay more for these instant products, especially if they are fortified with key micronutrients. As market-driven demand for these convenient and fortified products grows, there is exciting potential for additional income generation for local entrepreneurs and farmers, as well as improved nutrition for individuals and families.
Great. So the interesting thing that we're really pushing forward in West Africa is the use of extruders, extruding the grains themselves so they're pre-cooked, and then creating couscous and dege from those, much quicker process. And that really requires far less energy to cook them, as well as much less time. So it's really appealing to the urban consumers in Senegal and Niger. Let me shift now to Ethiopia. And this story is about getting the base material right, the sorghum grain right, so that it performs very well in the value-added food products. Sorghum has a number of deficiencies when it comes to value-added food products. So we set out a program which works with the Ethiopian Institute of Agricultural Research, universities in Ethiopia, Hawassa University, Haramara University, and regional programs in each of the federal states. So what we are working on is and currently in the process of release, are new hybrid varieties that have very high protein content, more than any variety that's out there right now. They're highly digestible, so that protein, once you do consume it, does break down and gets into your body, and it serves that nutritional process. It has much better storability. One of the key downfalls of traditional sorghum varieties in making injera was that it didn't keep overnight, that injera got brittle, it broke down, so you could not reuse it the next day as you can with teff. And so what these new varieties have to offer is very different physical characteristics in terms of palatability, taste, color, as well as superior nutritional characteristics. And so let's go to another video to learn a little bit about them.
Around the world, hundreds of millions of people depend on sorghum as a primary food source. Few foods define Ethiopia's cuisine like injera, a flat, pancake-like bread into which sorghum is commonly incorporated. However, due to its physical and chemical traits, sorghum tends to underperform in the making of injera. This limits its use as a base ingredient and keeps the price of injera higher with the dependence on teff, which sells at more than twice the price of sorghum. Improved sorghum lines that produce more voluminous, tender injera with longer shelf life are currently being introduced in Ethiopia as an alternative for teff-based injera production. Consumer preference studies show that injera made from blends with these improved sorghum lines performs as well as 100% teff injera and is equally preferred. Initial evaluation of the agronomic performance of the improved lines on Ethiopian farming operations has shown positive results, reinforcing optimism for the line's adaptability and adoptability. This improved sorghum will give injera producers improved functionality of their products, help reduce costs compared to teff, and provide an expanded market for improved sorghums to the millions of sorghum farmers across the country.
Okay, great. So that tells you a little bit about the sorghum in Ethiopia. And the key thing there is that it is a full value chain. So we have engagement of hybrid seed producers, farmers growing them, processors that are milling this, and then ultimately the food processors, which are transforming it into injera. Now, I want to do one last thing. This is a very busy table, and I know that, and I don't expect you to memorize it because there's no test at the end of this. But what I want you to focus on is this first column in which we have different treatments. And this very first line in blue is KT100 Kuncho teff, the traditional teff variety that's used for injera at 100% usage in making injera. And we can evaluate based upon color, its rollability, sourness, taste, a number of different attributes on a scale from 1 to 10. The overall acceptability is in your far right column, and Kuncho teff scores 8.12. Now, as we go down this first column, we see that we've got blends, 50% teff, 50% of these new sorghum varieties, 100% of these new sorghum varieties, and we evaluate it with consumers along the same different attributes. And what we know from these two lines in green is that they are as acceptable as 100% teff for making injera. And these are blends, 50% teff, 50% sorghum. The key thing here is that some of these blends even outperform teff. Consumers preferred them, which is an exciting advance because with sorghum being half the price of teff, that provides an opportunity to reduce costs in food processing and make the product as good and perhaps more profitable for the processor. Thanks for allowing me to speak with you today. Our program focuses on innovation in the development of new varieties, innovation in food products, bringing those to farmers, bringing the products to consumers, and that nascent food processing sector. Improving the resilience in the face of drought and other major stressors, improving nutritional status of the most vulnerable, and profitably across the value chain. If you'd like more information, please visit our program at ksu.edu, kstate.edu/SMIL, or you can contact me at tdalton@kstate.edu. Thank you very much for your attention. It's been great to be with you in this first